Welcome to day 5 of Miracles Week. Man, we are just a few days away from launching our brand new series, Miracles. I want to encourage you to make sure you pick up the book by Jeff Little, Miracles. You can get that here at the church. Also, dive into a life group this Sunday night at 6 o'clock. It's going to be critical for you to get involved. Now, yesterday I said we would finish by looking at some application and diving into the scripture as we finish the week. And I want to go to John 4 where we look at Jesus and the woman at the well. Matter of fact, if you know a lot about John 4, you know it's the longest single conversation Jesus has with anybody in the Bible. The woman at the well is the least likely person for him to talk to that day. There's so many, of the things that we think or the barriers that we put in place that he actually removes in that conversation. As he goes and meets this woman, and in this interaction, we see a clear picture of who he is. And actually how he comes to each of us even still today. And yet here's what Jesus says. In John 4, 6 through 9, he says, come to us. See, she wasn't looking for Jesus that day. He came for her. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why he did. Do not associate, could not be more clear in that moment in time. She was a woman that had many husbands. It was a woman that was the kind of the town prostitute or whore, for some might say. There was massive tension for this to go on. And she saw her past as a major barrier. She saw her lifestyle as a major barrier to a miracle. But can I tell you who didn't? Jesus. And here's what we see him begin to do in that John 4 passage. He begins to restore her just like he wants to restore us. He doesn't just talk to her. He sees hope for her. She's very aware of the barriers that exist, but she's trying to have a relationship with God. And here's the good news. He invites her into that relationship. He invites her into this relationship with him. And this amazing restoration begins. And that's what happens when he places us in relationships. You can look at John 4:39. She's going to get water. It was not a solo job. Normally you went as a group. But on that day she went alone because no one wanted to be seen with her because of the shame that she was carrying every single day. But in this interaction with Jesus, something miraculous happened. She leaves the well in John 4 and she runs back to her town. And somehow, the people go from shunning her to trusting her enough to come and see, who is this man who claims to be the Messiah? John 4, the entire story is a miracle. And over the next few weeks, we're going to look at these miracles. We're going to look at a storm that suddenly stops, 10 lepers that are changed, a woman with a 12-year sickness and a 12-year-old girl are both saved, a man on a mat carried by his friends. See, I believe starting this Sunday that God is going to speak to each of us as we study these miracles. But the greatest miracle of all is how he sees us and how he's come to us and will come to us in our moments of need. I'm praying for you, looking forward to an incredible 6 weeks of miracles. We'll see you Sunday.